In this video, I'm going to focus on the SSK, also known as the slip-slip knit. It is a left slanting decrease that is worked using 2 stitches, and I've knit it in pairs here. So I've got one SSK column worked here and a second one worked here. And the reason I've done that is because when you work the stitches differently on the following row of working the SSK, you get a slightly different look. So to work an SSK, we do a slip, slip, knit. So we slip 1 stitch knitwise from the left hand needle to the right hand needle. We slip a 2nd stitch knitwise from the left hand needle to the right hand needle. And then we work what they call a knit 2 together through the back loop. You can do this 2 ways. You can either transfer the stitches independently back to the left hand needle and insert your right hand needle into the back of the 2 loops and knit them. Or, because you've already got those stitches on your right hand needle, you can simply take your left hand needle and insert into the front of both of those stitches and then knit the 2 together. By slipping those stitches knitwise before you work the stitch, it allows you to lay the first of the 2 stitches in front of the 2nd stitch so you get your left leaning decrease. So I'm going to work over to the next one here, and I'm going to work it exactly the same way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my work and show you how I work the stitch above the previously worked SSK and get in a little bit closer so you can see what it looks like. So once again, I'm at the SSK location. So I'm going to slip a stitch knitwise, slip a 2nd stitch knitwise, and then knit them through the back loop. I'm just going to insert my left needle into those 2 stitches and work them together. All right, now I'm going to get to the end of my work and I'm going to show you how to work above those 2 SSK stitches a little bit differently. Okay, so here I am back ready to work the stitch above where I previously worked my SSK. You can see this left leaning stitch here. I've recently discovered that when you work the stitch above an SSK through the back loop, that you get a much cleaner edge to your SSKs. So I'm going to do that here. So I'm just going to knit through the back loop instead of through the front of a loop, which is normally how we would knit. I'm going to knit through the back. And what that does is it puts a little twist on the stitch. If you look very closely at the stitch, you can see that what would be the left leg now is actually in front of the right leg. This is what would be a standard twisted stitch in knitting. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know exactly why that makes the edge cleaner. All I know is that now that I've got them side by side for comparison, I can see that there actually is a difference. Oh, sorry, yarn ball management. Okay, so I'm just going to knit over to the other column of SSKs and work it like I would normally work, the way that it's typically written in pattern. So you can see here, I've got my left leaning stitch. I'm simply going to knit that. And that's likely what most patterns are going to tell you to do, is to just knit on top of it. You can substitute in a knit through the back loop if you prefer the way that it looks. So I'm just going to get to the end of the row here, and I'm going to show you what I perceive as the difference between the 2 methods. So this is the standard column of SSKs where I work a typical knit stitch above it. I find my left leg always looks a little puffier. The stitches aren't as even as I would like them to be, and I think that's because when I do the slip slip at the beginning of the slip slip knit stitch, I distort the stitch a little bit. When I come back over here, it's a little tricky because it's at the edge of the work, I just feel like the stitches look a little bit more even. You can see it obviously distorts the fabric to have a bit of a lean to it, but you can compare the 2. I just think these stitches here look a little tidier. So you can make your choice based on your own tension, but I've given you the tools to decide whether you want to knit through the back loop or regular. Thank you for stopping by to learn how to SSK, and happy knitting!